I pray to God that this never happens to anyone. The sky was filled with thick clouds of smoke. Fire was slowly creeping into the city from all directions. Ash was still at school, just waiting for his parents to come and take him away. The wait was finally over. They arrived. For a moment, Ash felt happy, but then that joy turned into disappointment and anger because his parents hadn't brought his dog, Max. They had left him at home alone. Ash insisted on going back to get Max. There was still time, but his parents strictly refused and tried to explain the urgency, even scolding him. Meanwhile, Max was alone at home, waiting with hope that Ash would somehow convince his parents and return for him. But soon, the fire reached near to Max. Max couldn't wait any longer. He ran off toward Ash's school, believing he'd find his best friend there. The road was long, but Max didn't give up. Finally, he reached the school, but by then, it was too late. Ash and his parents had already left. Max had no idea where they went. Heartbroken, he lay quietly near the school gate, waiting in sadness. On the other side, Ash and his parents had reached a safe place. They saw on the news that their city had been destroyed by the wildfire. Still, Ash believed somehow Max must have survived. That night, while his parents were asleep, Ash quietly took his sports cycle and left in search of Max. Ash came back to save Max. The path was too long, but Ash didn't give up. He kept pedaling, heart full of hope and eyes filled with determination. Finally, he reached his old home, but he didn't know Max wasn't there. Max was still at the school. Ash searched everywhere in the burnt remains, calling out for Max, but there was no response. After everything around him was just ash and smoke, Ash thought Max was no longer alive. Heartbroken, Ash turned to head back to his new home with tears in his eyes. Meanwhile, Max was still at the school, fighting for his life, surrounded by fire. He had just a few minutes left before he would be engulfed by the flames. Suddenly, Max heard the sound of a sports cycle in the distance. It was Ash, riding to his new home, unknowingly passing right by the school. Max used all his remaining strength to bark loudly. Ash immediately hit the brake. He recognized Max's bark. Without wasting a second, he rushed into the school and saw Max trapped in the fire. Max couldn't believe it. It was really Ash. Ash, risking his own life, somehow managed to rescue Max from the flames. Max's fur was half burnt. He was weak, dirty, and exhausted, but he was alive. Tears filled both of their eyes as Ash held Max tightly. He lifted him onto the sports cycle and began the journey back home together again.